there will be a pre-programmed pause of up to 3 seconds, and the 60-lap British Grand Prix will be go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Go! At Silverstone, Häkkinen leads, Schumacher second, Villeneuve is alongside, and coming through on the inside it's one of the salvos. It looks like Johnny Herbert has come up into 4th place. No, it's a Lacey with a terrific start. But meantime, Häkkinen can choose the dry line as he goes out of the Beckett's complex and down the Hanger Straight. Schumacher is behind him, and David Coulthard is in 3rd position. So the first 3 on the grid are the first 3 in the race. And sure enough, it's Jean Alesi in 4th position. Hi, James Allen, have you got news?
I have. I'm in the Ferrari garage. Ross Brawn and Stefano Domenicali, the team manager, are frantically talking. They've just been handed a statement from the stewards telling them why they've been given a penalty. I can't get my hands on it yet. Presumably it's because the stewards think that he overtook before the start-finish line. It must have been a microscopic decision if it's the case. Ross Brawn's shaking his head, waving at the steward, saying, no, 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 you're wrong, you're wrong. But Michael doesn't look as though he's coming in. I think, Martin, you may be right. They'll add it to his time at the end of the race.
Well, the time, he's 20 seconds ahead of Mika Häkkinen now, and it's a moot point how long it takes to come in, stop, go and get out again. But in my opinion, it's going to be more than 20 seconds. The British Grand Prix could be ending with a cloud over it in more ways than one. The black one that's overhead and the political one as well, because there would be a political uproar of the greatest possible magnitude if that happened. And he is coming in. He is coming in, we are told. He's on his 59th lap now.
I'm not too sure about that. I think they'll stay out and fight that one out later on. Let's see. I mean, his crew is still there. The man's lazily waving the lollipop around where Michael may have to stop. But if I was them, I thought if it happened in the last few laps of the race, you didn't have to come in. But there's Michael taking a wide line out of left field. I think they're going to carry on, win the race and argue about it later.
And we won't know the answer for some time if that is the case, because Michael Schumacher is on lap 60 now. As you've just seen, that is the final lap of the British Grand Prix. Is the decision going to hang in the air and long after we've finished?
Well, the Benettons are fighting each other for position. Bert's 4th, Fisichella 5th. Irvine's a lap ahead of them and clearly not at all happy now the track's beginning to dry out. He's fallen some 4.7 seconds back from Mika Häkkinen in 2nd place.
Well, Mika Häkkinen, Michael Schumacher well and truly on that last lap. There's Eddie Irvine pursued by Alexander Wurz, who in fact is a full lap behind him. Alexander Wurz is in 4th place. His teammate Fisichella right behind him is in 5th position. But into the Vale for the 60th and last time. Up to Club Corner for the 60th and last time. Irrespective of whether he's going to win this race or be penalised and finish we know not where, it would be 2nd place, I'm sure. Past that Union Jack, fluttering on the wet, sodden track as the wind tugs at it. Michael Schumacher, the back steps out on the Ferrari, and he's up to bridge now for the last time.
He's giving it absolutely everything, isn't he, on this lap?
Yeah,
and I think he's trying to pull out he's running wide there looking for it. I think he's trying to pull out something, trying to get it to 30 seconds, but I really don't know how this one's going to end up, if they're going to have to fight this out with the stewards.
We won't know that. He won't get it up to 30 seconds. He's going to get it up to about 25. It was 23 when this race started.
He's in the pit lane. Schumacher in the pit lane. So, well, that means he'll win the race because he crosses the start-finish line to be... he crosses the start-finish line now, I believe. Well, yes, it's lap 60 to take his penalty. But the race is over, surely.
Well, this could be an incredible bit of political acumen. Meantime, I'm looking to see Mika Häkkinen go through, and I'm desperately... There is Mika Häkkinen, and Michael Schumacher, and I'm pretty sure that Michael Schumacher has won the British Grand Prix. He's made his stop-start. He's crossed the finish line before Mika Häkkinen, but that is very, very, very unofficial. We've got to wait for the official news. Meantime, I'm watching the computer that gives us this information. It says, lap 60, Michael Schumacher in pit. Mika Häkkinen's crossed the line. I frankly do not know the answer at the moment.
I checked this out on Thursday. Remember, they've repositioned the start, but the finish line and therefore the timing beams are back there at Woodcote. Michael Schumacher's pit is past that point. And of course, they register the cars as they come in the pit lane. So Michael Schumacher won the race going down the pit lane, took his stop and go, which is completely irrelevant.
He's still hammering on. He's still hammering on very hard indeed. I hope you're right, Martin. Winner! You are right! You are right! Well done! Fabulous!
Well, hang on, that's the guy who puts the captions up, Murray. He's not the steward.
Yeah, but I know, but he gets official information. I'll go with that until someone tells me officially that that is not the situation. Ferrari are going mad in their garage, I can tell you that. I have never, ever, in the years I've been watching Grand Prix racing, seen a finish like that. It is absolutely unprecedented. Now, I take that as an official statement that Michael Schumacher won the British Grand Prix, and that is the first time he has won it. It brings him to within 2 World Championship points of Mika Häkkinen, and it means to say that he has now won the last 3 Grand Prix. He's won 4 Grand Prix altogether to Mika Häkkinen's 4 Grand Prix. And Eddie Irvine crosses the line and finishes in 3rd position. Mika Häkkinen has already finished in 2nd place. Alexander Wurz has been lapped and therefore finished 4th, ahead of Giancarlo Fisichella. And joy of joys for Jordan and their Silverstone base. Ralf Schumacher finishes 6th and gets Jordan's first World Championship point. And there he is, happily waving.
Mika Häkkinen going round on the slowing down lap, waving at the crowd, as is Ralf for his 1 point. But Häkkinen probably thinking he's won the race, and this is as bizarre as I've ever seen the finish of a Grand Prix.
But Mika certainly gets the controversy. Remember the way he won at Jerez last year, when Jacques Villeneuve and David Coulthard moved over and let him through in the closing stages, well, the last corner of the race. Mika Häkkinen, if we are to believe what we have been told, is going to get a very unpleasant shock in a minute.
Well, they say it's better to be born lucky than rich, and Häkkinen losing the car in the middle of bridge, remember, on the water, going through an enormous gravel trap and finding himself back on the racetrack without hitting anything, albeit damaging the front wing slightly. Absolutely incredible, but we're not absolutely sure who's won it. Murray thinks it's Michael Schumacher. James, what do you know?
Well, it's very interesting. I just had a word with Ross Brawn and Ron Dennis. Neither of them want to speak on the record at the moment. I said to Ross, do you think you've won this race? He said, James, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we did that stop and go during the time with which we're allowed to do it. Ron Dennis is saying they took the stop and go in the pit lane, but they're not allowed to do that. It's a bit like prize fighters in a boxing match. They both think they've won. We're waiting for the referee's decision now on points.
Well, I may be being a bit pedantic, but I don't know where else you take a stop and go than in the pit lane. It used to be at a special place, but then the ruling was changed and you take the stop and go at your garage in the pit lane.
Yes, but when you receive that official notice from the stewards that you have to sign, the team manager must sign, you have to make your stop and go within a certain period of time.
3 laps.
3 laps after that. So he may, what Ross Brawn was saying, I think, is they may have been outside of that, but they elected to take it after the race had finished.
I do hope that this British Grand Prix, where so many drivers have tried so hard at such potential risk to win this race, is going to be decided in the stewards.
And look, Schumacher's saying yes or no.
Is he saying yes or no, or is that despair because he hasn't won? He's congratulating little brother, and that's typical of Michael, who's got altogether the wrong image and reputation. He's an extremely nice chap, and he would be the first to congratulate him. And Mika Häkkinen does not look too happy with things. I'm trying to read things from body language, and that body language does not, to me, say that Michael Schumacher has not won the British Grand Prix. He believes he has, his Ferrari mechanics think he has, and Mika Häkkinen sitting glumly in the car and now wearily taking his gloves off does not look like a man who thinks he's won to me. And Pasquale is leading. Mika is leading Ralf Schumacher in. We are looking at the winner of the British Grand Prix, who yet again congratulates his teammate Eddie Irvine on a stunning race, and Mika Häkkinen could not look gloomier.
Well, if they're positioning themselves to demonstrate to the stewards what they think, Michael's definitely winning the battle, but Häkkinen looking as if he's received some very bad news. Michael looking as if they're saying, oh well, let's pretend we won it anyway.
Well,
Let's see who they put on the podium. They've really got to make a decision before...
Do you know, this takes me back to Japan, when we stood waiting for Ayrton Senna to come onto the podium after he and Prost had that coming together in 1989.
And they disqualified
who came out? Alice Nannini.
Yeah, Nannini was given the race win, and they all stood behind the podium waiting for the procedure to take place because they weren't sure quite who'd won the race, because they Senna ran to Prost earlier in the race and went across an illegal piece of
that's right,
gravel away from the racetrack.
And it wasn't until Nannini, surprisingly, to our consternation, in fact, stepped on to, and to his consternation, stepped onto the first step of the podium, that we knew he was the winner. So who is going to get onto the top step now?
They've really got to make a decision. They were going to weigh the drivers anyway with their helmet. You can see Hakkinen now being weighed.
I'm convinced that Hakkinen thinks he's lost. That was a sort of weary, well done, Mika. Well done, Michael, handshake. And everything about Michael Schumacher says to me that he thinks he's won. Well, what an incredible ending. We've seen some amazing races at Silverstone, but never one quite like this. Now, according to my information, the top 6 point scorers, the winner, Michael Schumacher, as I've said, 3 races in succession. Ferrari now really are back. Yes, they're back because Mika Hakkinen went off and lost the lead, but to finish first you have to finish, and you have to finish first. And Michael Schumacher did that, I think. Michael Schumacher the winner, Mika Hakkinen second, Eddie Irvine third. They're the top 3 steps of the podium. Then the 2 Benettons of Alexander Wurz and Giancarlo Fisichella. Ralf Schumacher wins Jordan's first point, breaks the drought for the Silverstone team to their enormous relief. It's been a long time coming, only 1 point then, but every little helps. And that's the long climb up to the podium and the media centre. It's going to be a very interesting conference. John Todt congratulates, well done Mika, well done, but let me get a Michael. I've got a confidential word to say to him.
Yeah, well, Jean wants to get to him before he speaks to the press. Jean wants to give him the real story, and so they can synchronise their watches on that and be singing off the same hymn sheet a little bit later on. I don't think it's over and done yet, Murray.
No, I fear you may be right, actually. It really is an amazing situation, this, but we're going to know the top man on the top step of the podium is the winner, because they're not going to let him get on it if he's not. And Michael Schumacher emerges. Michael Schumacher waves to the crowd. He got a gigantic reception here yesterday. And up onto the top step to receive his award from Prince Michael of Kent goes an overjoyed Michael Schumacher. The German national anthem for Michael Schumacher, the Italian national anthem for Ferrari, first and third at Silverstone. Sing along to me, says Michael Schumacher to the Ferrari mechanics assembled beneath him. Very happy man. Of course he's a very happy man. 10 points, 30 points from the last 3 races.
Well, I believe I mean, Michael's getting the first place trophy there. If they've got an hour now, when they publish the official result, they've got an hour to protest. So if there's going to be any protests about the procedure, and probably it'll